Monkey had everything ready. The notebook was open, the laptop was charged, the coffee was hot, the room was clean. Monkey even searched for the perfect focus music. "This is it," Monkey whispered. "Today's the day." Then Monkey picked up the phone. Just one notification. 28 minutes later, Monkey somehow knew the life story of a penguin that escaped a zoo, watched someone organize their refrigerator, learned 5 facts about ancient Rome that would probably never be useful, and was now watching a video about why cats secretly judge humans. The notebook was still open, the coffee was cold, and somehow, Monkey felt even less motivated than before. The funny part? Monkey wasn't lazy. Monkey was waiting to feel ready, waiting for that magical moment when motivation would suddenly appear and say, "All right, let's do this." But it never came. And that wasn't just happening today. It had been happening for weeks, maybe even months. Monkey had become incredibly good at getting ready to start. There were planners, productivity apps, color-coded schedules, a brand new desk setup, a fresh wallpaper that said discipline beats motivation. Monkey even bought expensive notebooks that looked too nice to write in. Everything looked productive, except nothing was actually getting done. Monkey wasn't avoiding work on purpose. Preparing just felt so productive that it quietly replaced the work itself. Monday morning arrived. Monkey jumped out of bed feeling different. This week is going to be my week. Breakfast, coffee, quick shower, fresh clothes, a brand new to-do list. Everything felt perfect. Then Monkey remembered there were a few messages to check. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes became 15. 15 became 30. Soon Monkey was watching someone else's morning routine, then someone announcing a promotion, another person showing off their new apartment, another talking about making 6 figures before turning 25. Monkey slowly looked around the room. Suddenly the room felt smaller. The goals felt farther away. Without even realizing it, Monkey had compared an entire life to a few seconds of someone else's highlight reel. The excitement disappeared before the first task even began. Monkey sighed. Maybe today just isn't the day. That sentence had become strangely familiar. Monkey loved making little deals. "I'll start after breakfast." Breakfast ended. "I'll start at 9. 9 arrived. 9:30 feels like a cleaner time. Then, "I'll start after lunch." Later became evening. Evening tomorrow. Tomorrow somehow became next week. Monkey never actually said, "I don't want to do it." Monkey always said, "I do want to do it, just not right now." That tiny difference stole weeks without Monkey noticing. One evening, Monkey had a brilliant idea. Maybe the problem wasn't the work. Maybe Monkey simply needed more motivation. Perfect. Monkey searched for motivational videos. 1 speech became 3. 3 became 8. Monkey felt unstoppable. The music was powerful. The words were inspiring. Monkey stood up, feeling like life was about to change forever. Monkey marched confidently toward the desk, opened the laptop, placed both hands on the keyboard, looked at the blinking cursor, and nothing. The motivation had disappeared before Monkey typed the first sentence. Monkey stared at the screen, then quietly opened another motivational video. It felt good for a little while, just long enough to avoid starting again. Every evening, Monkey walked home past Turtle. Turtle always looked the same. Same backpack, same slow walk, nothing exciting. Monkey secretly felt a little sorry for Turtle. So slow. Months passed. Then one afternoon, Monkey noticed something strange. Turtle had opened a small shop. Nothing fancy, just a simple little place. A few months later, the shop had grown. Then another one appeared. People were lining up. Monkey couldn't believe it. When did all this happen? It felt like Turtle had become successful overnight. But Monkey had walked past Turtle almost every day. It wasn't overnight. Monkey had simply ignored all the ordinary days because they weren't exciting enough to notice. Turtle never looked particularly motivated, never looked inspired. Turtle just kept showing up. One quiet afternoon, Monkey opened the notebook again. Every page was filled, not with finished work, with plans, fresh starts, perfect schedules, new routines, ideas waiting for the perfect moment. Monkey flipped through page after page, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was almost unbelievable. Monkey had spent months becoming incredibly productive at preparing to become productive. The next morning felt exactly the same. Monkey wasn't suddenly energetic. There wasn't inspiring music playing in the background. Nothing magical had happened overnight. Monkey still felt sleepy, still felt distracted, still didn't feel motivated. But this time Monkey said something different. Just one sentence, not one chapter, not 1 hour, just one sentence. Monkey wrote it, then another, then another. One paragraph became two, two became a page. Without noticing, almost an hour had passed. Monkey leaned back in the chair. Wait, something felt different. The motivation had finally arrived, not before starting, after. Monkey couldn't stop thinking about that. For years, Monkey had been standing still, waiting for motivation to make the first move. But motivation had been waiting too, almost as if it had been saying, "You go first." Over the next few weeks, Monkey started paying closer attention. The people Monkey admired weren't waking up every morning overflowing with excitement. Some looked tired, some looked stressed, some looked distracted. Some probably wanted another hour of sleep. They weren't moving because they felt motivated. They became motivated because they kept moving. That realization stayed with Monkey. Every time Monkey waited to feel ready, nothing happened. Every dream stayed parked in tomorrow. Every plan stayed inside the notebook. Every version of Monkey that could have existed kept waiting. Not because Monkey wasn't smart enough. Not because Monkey wasn't capable. Simply because Monkey had accidentally given motivation a job it was never supposed to do. A few weeks later, Monkey woke up on another ordinary morning. Still sleepy. Still not particularly excited. Monkey smiled. It doesn't matter. Monkey sat down. Started anyway. Some days were great. Some days were messy. Some days only a tiny bit of progress happened. But something amazing slowly changed. The mountain Monkey had been staring at for years started getting smaller. Not because Monkey suddenly became extraordinary, because Monkey stopped waiting to feel extraordinary before taking the first step. Ironically, the more Monkey acted, the more motivation kept showing up. Always late. Like that one friend who says they're 5 minutes away when they haven't even left the house yet. Still helpful. Just never first. Looking back, Monkey almost felt bad for blaming motivation all those years. It had never disappeared. It had simply been following behind action the entire time. Monkey had spent years standing at the front door waiting for a taxi that was parked behind the house. The moment Monkey started walking, there it was. So the next time Monkey catches that little voice saying, "I'll start when I feel motivated," Monkey just smiles. Because now Monkey knows something that took far too long to figure out. Motivation isn't usually the beginning of the story. Most of the time, it's the reward for finally starting.